on, guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. We're going to a local show tomorrow night, as well as another show next Thursday. We're going to be checking out Hail the Sun and that tour, so I'm definitely stoked on that. I will be getting video of hopefully all the bands and maybe a few surprises here and there. Definitely stoked to share those with you and just go over the whole tour and things of that nature. So definitely check back with the channel. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also make sure to hit that like button as well. It really does go a long way, and we thank you for your support. So I'm going to give a shout out to Stephanie over at Catalyst Publicity Group. Thank you guys for sending me this record a little bit early, and I'm stoked to do another review in a two-part series so far of Heirsound's new record, Layers Volume 2. I did Volume 1, so definitely check back with the channel. I will leave an end card at the end of this video, so definitely check that out if you are interested in the first part of this review. So, like I said, this is Heirsound's Layers Volume 2 album review.
Maybe there's something better than what you've been going through now. You're allowed. I see the way you put your hands over your mouth. Let the words behind
So, I kind of gave a little synopsis on the last review of, the band and things of that nature. But for those of you who didn't check it out, they are a two-part band, featuring Alexa, I don't know why I said Alexa, and Dane. They are from opposite sides of the U.S. One lives in Los Angeles and one lives in New York. So they kind of collaborate, I guess, via the internet. But it's really solid. It has that sort of electronic vibe to it. So if you're into that, definitely check that out. But I'm going to go through all of the tracks, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then I am going to give an overall rating for the record. So we're going to get into the first track, which is Bliss. Really liking this sort of cool drum plus synth intro. I feel like, they've definitely kind of mastered that sort of electronic part to their music. I also like the vocals in this track as well. They have this grittiness to it, but it's also more sort of, I would say, rapping as opposed to singing in terms of what they're doing. So that's kind of an interesting trade in terms of that. I definitely feel like a lot of these tracks have this more melodic feel to them as opposed to a lot of the other ones. They felt like a little bit more, I guess, I wouldn't even say aggressive. They just definitely had a little bit more oomph to it. This one's a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more reserved. In terms of just sonically, I feel like the whole record can kind of be surmised under that. It definitely has a sort of more spacier, sort of ambient vibe to it. But at some points, in my opinion, I feel like it feels a little bit bland, especially in this track. It doesn't have any breaks. It really doesn't have any sort of thing that makes it interesting outside of the vocals. And it just feels a little bit bland to me. And I would definitely say that this one's one of my least favorite tracks off this EP. It just didn't really grab me. It didn't really pull me in like I thought it would. And it just didn't have that sort of like spatial sort of sonic awareness that I feel like some of the other tracks off the other EP just had, in my opinion. So we're going to move into track number 2, which is Lacuna. This one is the single that they released with this. I think they also released a music video as well. I feel like a lot of these tracks have this sort of reserve to them. I feel like they're just not they're not going for those like real gusto sort of moments. It feels like it's very pulled back. It feels almost restrained a little bit. I feel like there are some sort of build-up-y sort of parts, but they just don't pay off, in my opinion. They just don't have that sort of pull that I'm expecting. And maybe I shouldn't be comparing the two EPs, but I figured since they are kind of a volume in terms of sonically, the direction, and I kind of compare it to the color spectrum of the Deer Hunter. It has that sort of quality to it where, in my opinion, obviously they don't have to have the same sound, but I feel like they have to have that sort of same vibe, and I'm not really getting that. Again, it's more electronic based, which is not a problem, but I feel like there isn't that sort of gusto that a lot of the previous tracks had. I definitely feel like the chorus is nice. I feel like it definitely offers more than the previous track in terms of diversity, in terms of vocally diverse songs. I feel like that is just another addition to add Dane onto a track. I definitely feel like this track is more focused on melodic elements as opposed to the last record, like I mentioned. And I definitely feel like it's not a bad song, but it just doesn't have this sort of pull to it that I'm expecting from a lot of tracks. It's just kind of like there, and it doesn't have that sort of just pull that I expect and what I'm looking for in tracks. So we're gonna move into track number three, which is Peace of Mind. I'm really liking that in this track they're using more real instruments like guitars, drums, things of that nature, bass. It feels a little bit more natural, and that's what I like. And I like that their focal point is more on the real instruments in this track as opposed to more electronics. And I like that the electronics kind of take like more of a back seat in this track. I'm definitely liking that this track has more of Dane's vocals and it's just more prominent as opposed to Alexa's. I think they both have really solid vocals, but I feel like their real strength is when they do harmonies together. Just because they have two different styles of vocals, I feel like they mesh very well together when they are doing harmonies. So I definitely feel like in future releases, I would like to see more harmony based stuff. So I really enjoy that. And then I also definitely feel like they're going for more, again, more atmospheric, more ambience, or more melodic feels to a lot of these tracks. And I mean, I could definitely get it. And, I know it's not for everyone, but certainly it's not really kind of pulling me in, but it may be pulling somebody else in. So um, definitely check that out if you're more on that more melodic sort of electronic feel. So we're gonna move into track number four, which is Next Life. This one features Casey Gallagher. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronunciate it. And I hope I pronunciate it right. But I'm definitely liking this one. I feel like this one is the best track off the record. I think vocally, just the duality between Alexa and Dane, I just feel like meshes very well in this track. I like the great harmonies in this track as well. I feel like they just fit very well together, and I also feel like this track is structurally the best track. It just I like the instrumentals and I like how they're paired with the vocals. I like that again they have sort of three vocals as well. One being the guest vocalist as well as just Dane and Alexa. I feel like they pair very well together, like I've been mentioning a lot. But I feel like it's something to stress. Um, the chorus is definitely really solid, and I feel like Casey was definitely a good feature on this track. She offered a bit of glassiness to her vocals. They felt like they fit very well with the track. So I feel like in that regard, while it wasn't too long in comparison to the last feature they had on their last record, I feel like it fits very well vocally and just performance wise. I feel like it fits the best, and I feel like it's a solid closer to this EP. So some pros and cons. I definitely like that they're trying something different. In every EP, I think that they have tried something different, which I do appreciate. I feel like it's always hard to make the same record and have people enjoy the new stuff. So in that regard, I do appreciate that and I do give them kudos for that. However, I feel like it wasn't executed in the best way possible, in my opinion. It just felt like it didn't have this sort of tug and pull, and you're gonna. I know I can feel people just typing like, "Oh, well, you don't know," and I was like, I listened to the last EP, and I definitely feel like that one had just more of a gravitation to it. Not saying that this is bad, and I'm not saying that I won't like it. It just felt like the last record, in comparison to this one, just had that sort of pull and just dynamics. They just had a lot more dynamics going on in that EP as opposed to this one. So in my opinion, I feel like it is solid, but I feel like if they had to swap maybe the EPs, I think it would have been a little bit better off because then I could come in with like a little bit of more knowledge in terms of that. So I do appreciate the risks, but I feel like in my opinion they didn't really pay off too much. So my overall rating for Air Sounds Layer Volume 2, I'm gonna be giving it an 8.2 out of 10. It's not much lower than the original EP, the first EP that they released. I'm not about going, I'm not about lowballing people on records, especially considering that I not I'm not necessarily about it, but that might mean that somebody else is. So I don't want to give anybody false reason to check it out. I still think if you are into Air Sound, I feel like it's another layer, another addition that they can add to this record. So if you are a fan of them, I feel like you should check their stuff out. If you aren't, I feel like you will still get a lot out of it. I feel like if you are a big electronic fan, this one is kind of right up your alley in terms of more melodic things, things that aren't in your face. I would say that this album has a lot less of the in your face sort of stuff and more or less like just background sort of melodic pieces. So in that regard, I feel like it's solid. But it just didn't really catch me. So, hopefully, here's to hoping the next record will be a little bit more enticing. But for now, it's just not, I'm just not into it. So, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. Do you think I'm right? Do you think I'm wrong? I know, music is subjective, so everybody's not going to agree with me. So I completely understand that, but I would definitely like to know your thoughts in the comments section below. And let me know what your thoughts on the first EP, if you've checked it out, in comparison to this one. I would definitely like to have a conversation about that. So if you enjoy what we do, make sure that the subscribe button, also make sure that like button as well. It really does go a long way. And we also have merch if you'd like to pick something up. There is a link in the description where you can check that out as well. So my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.